All right, guys. So I am now on check understanding number three. Hopefully, you would have tried this yourself first. So if you haven't, I would like you to pause this video, try to do it first. I don't know, take about 5 minutes at most. And if you are still stuck, then take a look at this video. All right. In the meantime, like I said, if you haven't done so, pause the video. All right, I'm back. So we will continue with check your understanding number three. Here we go. So a projectile is launched upward with a speed of 50 meters per second. Its height, h meters, after t seconds is modeled by this equation. You're to graph the quadratic function, and as you can see, I used Desmos to graph it. You will identify and explain the significance of the intercepts, the coordinates of the vertex, the domain, and the range. Now, guys, so with Desmos, I replaced the t with an x. It's really the same thing. Also, the most common problem that kids would have with Desmos is that they are having a hard time figuring out how to create the proper scale. Okay, because when they just zoom in and zoom out, sometimes it's not giving them a nice graph. So what I want you to do is look at the upper right of the Desmos screen. You should see this one. Click on this sort of wrench, and you'll be able to adjust or play with the x and y values, and you will see that the grid adjusts itself, and it should allow you to create a good graph. All right, so play around with it. Okay, it took me some time also to be able to get the hang of how to plug in good values that will allow me to create a nice graph. Okay, so once I have graphed this is what I have as my graph right here. So let's identify the different um, intercepts. So you have a y-intercept here. What it means is that the projectile was fired at a height of 10 meters. There are two x-intercepts, this one and this one. The one on the left, this one, okay, is not really important in terms of what the situation is all about, because we're talking about real life wherein time starts at zero, right? Well, this one, as you can see, has a negative value for time. Remember, the x value here is your time, the y value is your height. So there's no meaning for us in terms of real life, wherein time is given in negative values. The other x-intercept talks about um, how much time, okay, elapsed before the projectile actually hit the ground. So it was in the air for 10.4 seconds. Okay. So what this what this coordinate means is that 10.4 seconds pass by before it hits the ground, because the y value talks about the height. Okay. What about this one? So that is the maximum point. It is the vertex. It gives the projectile's maximum height, which is about 137.55. And it occurred 5.1 seconds after it was fired or launched. All right, so let's look at the domain and range. Now, let's look at the domain first, because in the question, they talked about the domain first. The domain would be from 0 to 10.4, all right? 0 is when the projectile was about to be fired. 10.4 is when it hits the ground. What about the range? What would be the possible values for the height? All right, obviously it starts at um, 10. Okay, so if you're thinking, well, shouldn't this start at 10? I agree, because here it was fired at a height of 10. But as it goes up, it reaches a highest point of 137.55, which is the maximum for your y value. However, as it comes down, it eventually hits the ground, right? That's why it has a starting value of 0 for the range. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And then that's it for me for this check understanding. Thank you. Bye now.